What is a witch?
So let's say you could say there's Illuminati and Illuminati. So you have illuminated, and on the other side of the coin, you have the difficult New World Order kind of people. So you could say that witches that ate babies are more the New World Order kind of people, and Wicca is a religion of nature.
Are there people like that around here in California?
Well, I don't know them personally, but I have seen pictures and heard tales of many Satanists, Luciferians, and those who sacrifice here in California. But I think it's prevalent. I think it's all over the world. I think it's been going on for many generations.
What is their purpose?
Their end game is to kill all life, whether they know it or not.
Oh, really? And so if you were to cross paths with one, would you be able to tell that that's what it is right away?
I crossed paths with Masons when I came out here, and they were also dabbling in satanic rituals.
Masons were?
Yes.
And are they still doing that?
Well, yes, that's their lifestyle.
They were dabbling in satanic what?
Yeah, they would call it masonry, but what they're actually doing is basically satanic ritual abuse.
Like what, for example?
They sacrifice living things to something that they call Baphomet, or the god of the dead, which isn't Baphomet, and it's very difficult to say that they're doing everything incorrect, so I don't want to explain it correctly, but they are hurting things to get what they want.
And when you say things, like what?
Usually animals.
So they sacrifice animals?
Yeah.
Really?
From what I've seen. In visions. No, I would never be in a room where that was going on.
Oh, so how have you seen it?
In visions.
Oh, in
Through being
visions.
around these people, working with these people, touching these people, right? Talking with them and understanding where they're coming from. Yeah.
I read that you were a Buddhist.
That's right.
And Buddhists don't believe in God.
So Buddha said, don't worship me, right? So Buddha means anointed or Christed, same difference, only thousands of years before Christ. And so it's about finding enlightenment within you. So it's about being able to get to the God source from within, instead of the materialistic way of grabbing and searching and seeking outside of yourself.
But do they believe there is a God that lives above us and in us?
My guru
and
did.
that he has a son named Jesus.
Oh, my guru did. She actually wanted to become a Catholic nun at a very critical point in her life. So she was a Buddhist, and Buddhists will always tell you, you can go back to your childhood religion, and you can have your childhood religion along with Buddhism. So it's more of a way of thinking, of processing. It's a different way of loving yourself.
And so you're saying to me, yes, Buddhist, people who are Buddhist, do believe in the creator who created all things, God, right?
Yeah, but I can't speak for all Buddhists. I can speak for my guru, Sri Mamo Devi, Maria Rose, and she was the one who taught me Buddhism, all of it. Therefore, that also, she was a Christian too.
Is there a difference between, I was going to ask, is there a difference between Christianity or Christians and Buddhists?
Yeah, there's a time difference, that's for sure, and then cultural differences as well.
And when you say time difference, what do you mean?
That Buddha was born before Jesus.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And cultural difference is?
Yeah, so the Hindu people basically versus...
I noticed that Buddhist people don't have courage.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you see that? Tell me all about it.
All they do is sit around and pray, and they don't wear normal clothes and all that. They don't fight wars, and they don't.
That's right. Yeah, Tibet.
They're like, what's making them so weak?
Well, you are judging
courage.
them as weak.
But they don't fight. They don't stand for anything. That is a sign of weakness.
Well, in a materialistic world, that's true. But they're not in a materialistic world.
But I see them in the materialistic world.
You see them physical,
Right.
but it doesn't mean their mind is materialist.
And so do their mind tell them not to stand up and be men of courage?
It's more about them. You must understand they are trying to escape samsara, the world of suffering, through understanding themselves and understanding the universe. So they're not playing the materialistic game. They're not really playing this game.
And so is that why they don't defend themselves when attacked?
I think that's a big reason why, yeah.
But that's so beta, you know, like beta male. You know what a beta is?
I think so. I am on Twitter.
But isn't that so beta? Why believe in a God that won't give you the courage to stand up for yourself?
Well,
Even
yeah,
during time of war.
you definitely have Western thoughts there. And if you spent lifetimes on a mountain, you might feel differently. You might know differently.
On a mountain?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Meditating on a mountain.
They spend all their lives on a mountain?
Well, yeah, highest point in the world.
Would you marry a Buddha?
An enlightened man, that's all I ever wanted.
But don't you want a man that would protect you in time of trouble?
You know, I think men and women come together in love, and it's not about what they can do for each other in those materialistic ways.
But would you want a man that would protect you in time of trouble, or would you want him to run?
No, I know what you mean, and I would like the masculine to act masculine as I feminine act feminine. Sure.
So would you want him to protect you?
That'd be great.
So you would never marry a Buddha because he's not going to protect you.
The thing is that when you live your life with God every moment of every day, you're not really that afraid, you understand.
But
and
they act afraid when they don't protect themselves.
we come to a point to where we just trust what's happening to us. I've been through some extreme darkness where I felt abandoned, and that trust had to pull me through that. Faith had to pull me through that. I'm not depending on a strong alpha male or anything else other than God.
If a Buddhist is married, do they get married?
They do.
And they had a family, a wife and children.
They're called householders.
And someone came to attack them physically, to take their lives. They would fight back because they just believe in something in them?
No, you can fight back. That they don't choose to fight back in large groups is one thing. But to keep your personal safety, to keep your life, you are allowed to fight back. It's not against the rules.
Why don't they choose to fight back in large groups?
Well, you know, you're going to have to ask the Dalai Lama for that, because he's kind of like the father of the Buddhists right now.
That's the guy that's trying to do all these interracial marriages and things like that? Is that
I
the
don't
same
know, but I
person?
would say he's highly political
Yeah.
for a simple monk.
Is that good?
I don't know. Anyone on the stage of life, anyone who's famous, has usually compromised themselves in one way or another.
Have you ever come in contact with Satan?
I've looked for Satan everywhere, and all I can find is death.
Satan is death. So Satan is the same as evil, right?
If you like I said, there's a force. I don't think personification.
Have you ever come in contact with evil forces?
Yeah.
What did you do when you came into contact with evil forces? As an
Okay.
adult, how do you deal with that?
Well, how do I deal with it? A lot of prayer. We have tools, especially in Buddhism, on how to pray specifically, on what there are mantras that we read. There are certain knives that we don't actually physically use, but they're spiritual knives. They're physical knives, but they're used spiritually. So we actually have tools for these things.
Amazing. I read that you joined a 12-step program even though you were not an alcoholic.
That's
Is that
right.
true?
That's true.
Do you smoke pot?
I do, for pain.
I figured you smoke pot when I read that. I went, pot smoker.
Oh, but not. I haven't been a pot smoker for that long.
So you joined a program even though you were not an alcoholic. Why did you do that?
So I was identified by a friend of mine who said, I think you're codependent. I think that's your problem. And I read up on codependency, and because my father was an alcoholic, then I learned that I was a para-alcoholic, or the adult child of an alcoholic. And that sent me to counselors who told me to go to 12-step, which is a group session. So you get to hear real life stories, real life people who have gone through things that you've gone through as well. And you thought you were the only one on the planet that went through what you went through, but then strangers start telling your story to you. And it's such a comfort and a bonding experience that it pushed me forward to keep with the 12 steps until I was completely healed. And I think that it's good for just about anybody. It's a great roadmap.
So are you done with it now?
I don't think you're ever actually done, because if you're healed and you feel good, then you need to pay that forward.
So you think that you will always be an alcoholic, even though you're not an alcoholic and you don't even drink?
You mean I'll always be a 12-stepper?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Codependency is almost just as bad as alcoholism.
Why does that make sense to you? That you need a program like that and some person convinced you because your father drank and all that you needed it too?
I had no tools on how to get better. All I have were like New Age books. And so in the 12-step section, I found John Bradshaw, who is the one who coined the term inner child. And I understood through reading the work that I had been really traumatized as a child, and that I needed to come in and rescue that part of myself to bring her into alignment with my best self.
That's amazing.